Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, we're going to be talking about why I think Russia is the most challenging adversary in Spirit Island. So, objectively, Russia has a rating of difficulty 11, and that's when you max out at level 6. And it is the highest level or the highest difficulty you could play against if just playing with a single adversary. The only other adversary that can reach difficulty 11 is England level 6. Now, how does Russia do that? Well, let's take a look at the card. So first, it starts off with this additional loss condition, and that says that beasts can essentially be destroyed, and when they are destroyed, they are placed on this card, and that combos with our level 1 rule, where it says on each board you add an extra beast and explorer, and it says that explorers do 2 damage instead of 1, and whenever a ravage action adds a blight to a land, including cascades that has beasts, you get to destroy a beast. So if, for instance, my land B8 here is ravaging and blighting, blight comes down, kills the beast, and the beast gets placed on that card. And that's that additional loss condition. And whenever there are more beasts on this invader card than there are on the island, then the players lose the game. And that's what that level 1 does. Now, level 1 is fairly easy. Really, Russia takes this really large increase in difficulty. It's between levels 2 and 3. Now, let's first look at level 2. It says the first time each action would destroy an explorer. If possible, push one of those instead, and you then gain a fear. I've already talked about this rule plenty enough in my Russia guide and other Russia videos, but this level 2 rule creates a lot of complexity and a lot of it puts a lot of or it creates a lot of problems for players, because every time you're pushing an explorer, you need to think of all of the possibilities of where that explorer can go, and then that is going to compound with your level 3, your level 6, as well as both your escalation and your bombs. So as you can see, like, this level 2 is playing a massive role in pretty much the entire invader card. And I'll kind of explain that as we go further into the video. Now, looking at the level 3, it says Ravage cards also match lands with 3 explorers. So if I have a land now with 3 explorers, it is now matching that Ravage card. And once again, that level 2 roll, we're killing explorers, well, we then push explorers. So for instance, if jungle is ravaging and it looks like this, I now defend this land. I would only kill 1 explorer, and then one of them gets pushed. Now I can choose to actually push that explorer over here to my B7, and now this has 3 explorers. So now this land ravages. So there's just a lot of complexity, and a lot of the game against Russia is creating those ravages and trading effectively. And a lot of players, especially if you're newer to higher diff, this is something that a lot of players they don't do, and it actually creates a lot more problems as the game goes on. And it also compounds with that level 6. Now, looking at level 4, we have those 3 stage 1s and then alternating stage 2s and 3s. Those early stage 3s can be very problematic because remember, every explorer is going to be doing 2 damage. So once those level 3s come up, likely they'll match the previous stage 2s, and as a result, you're gonna have explorers popping up in empty lands, doing 2 damage and threatening to blight that land. So now, if Russia wasn't tough enough, now we have 2 extra invader cards that get put in this fear deck. And once we generate enough fear, those invader cards come down. So now we need to manage how much fear we're taking. Do we want to get the Russia bombs early, or do we want to have them later? And I find that spirits that generate a lot of fear, if playing in a multiplayer game, will actually make the game harder for everybody else. And not because they're a liability. I mean, they are a liability. Most of them are. But the fact is you're going to generate fear faster, which means those bombs come out at awkward times usually. Um, a spirit like Starlight generates practically no fear in the early game, so Starlight can perfectly plan when those bombs come out when it's playing solo. But in a multiplayer, you have a spirit like Many Minds that's basically generating two spirits worth of fear, and it will actually throw your game completely off. Now, if you're playing solo and you're a fear spirit, generating a lot of fear is a very viable way to win the game, just because you can fear bomb the or fear rush the invader deck and then kind of ignore these Russia bombs that are placed in here. But yes, so level 5, it's increasing that complexity of the adversary because, like I said, we have to now manage these bombs that will pop up. And then once they're down here, we're going to have multiple terrains building, multiple terrains ravaging. And then just looking at your board, um, once again, going back to that level 2 rule, where whenever we're killing explorers and pushing them, you may not want to push an explorer to a certain land because let's say if that bomb comes up, it's mountain in this case, but if that bomb comes up, you might actually push an explorer into that mountain, causing a build. And then finally, this level 6 rule, and it says that after the Ravage step of turn 2 plus on each board where it added no blight, in each land with the most explorers, add an explorer and a town. And this rule is very, very complex. There's a very massive increase in difficulty between level 5 and level 6. And this single rule is doing the following. First, it's checking, is the player paying attention to if are they blighting or are they not blighting? And it if you're planning on not blighting, you're going to get punished in the land with the most explorers. Once again, going back to that level 2, you're pushing explorers around, and this level 6 rule is going to put more pressure in that land that has the most explorers. Well, now if that land has 2 explorers, this level 6 is going to add another explorer town, and that's where that level 3 rule comes into play, causing this land to ravage down the line. Or maybe this is the only land you have on your board, and let's say it's building. Well, now you rush a 6, you add that town, and like I said, it's building, so now it immediately builds a city. So we go from having 1 or 2 explorers to now having an extra explorer and add an extra city because it just auto built. Um, I think Russia is a very challenging adversary because just that level 2, 3, and 6 rule, just with the explorers moving them around, a single explorer push could jeopardize the entire game for you. You can lose the entire game because you might have pushed the explorer into the wrong land. They then rush a 6th. Now the land has too many explorers. It's double ravaging because of the level 5 rule. Just plenty of very painful things that can occur. Um, I used to call this adversary the Russia test because I think pretty much every spirit in the game has a pretty decent matchup into Russia. I mean, of course, there's some spirits like Earth or Shadows that are going to kind of struggle a little bit, but if you're playing in a multiplayer game, you could at least survive a little bit until your friends can help you out. But I think most of the spirits have a pretty good shot at beating this adversary. So I call it the Russia test because it's testing how well do you know this adversary? How well do you know your spirit? And I think if you're not too familiar with the adversary, or if you're not too familiar with your spirit, you're going to fail that test just because the adversary it hits players really hard and it's very punishing if you make any mistakes. Now, this used to be my favorite adversary, and then now it's dropped a little bit just because the strategy that Ray and I have kind of found was that creating that Russia 6 land where you just constantly skip that land and you keep adding that explorer town to that same land. For me, I don't know, it gets fairly not tedious, but just any spirit that has a skip can utilize that plan, and as a result, it kind of cuts a lot of spirits out from creating diverse strategies. And I know you can always argue like, oh, don't do the strategy that you find boring, and that's very valid. But when I tend to find a strategy that works really, really well, it's very hard for me to see the other strategies. Um, but overall, the adversary is still pretty fun. I think I have it as number 3 on my favorite adversary list. If you like this video, like, subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys in the next video.